Unfortunately, most every activist will eventually get themselves arrested. It's a fact of life. This clip is all about how to get arrested and survive the encounter in good legal health. You have to think about this before you're arrested. At the point of arrest, your heart will be beating wildly. You will be freaked out. You're unlikely to be thinking clearly. I urge you to consider what you will do when you get arrested well before the time comes. An arrest consists of 3 things. First of all, the policeman will touch you on the shoulder or grab your arm, indicate that you are under arrest, and then they will tell you why you're under arrest. Often these 3 elements are all bundled together fairly closely. Immediately upon arrest, in America, they'll provide you with a Miranda rights warning. In other common law countries, such as Australia, then there is another stipulated warning that they'll read out. It runs something like, "You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be taken down and used against you in a court of law." In America, there's some added bits and pieces about a right to a lawyer or someone being appointed. In Australia, they go pretty much to dragging you off and throwing you in a paddy wagon. Do not make the mistake of trying to resist or fight the police when getting arrested. The place to fight the police is not inside a police station or upon arrest. The place to fight the police is in a courtroom. If you resist or hassle the coppers when you're getting arrested, it just provides the police with the opportunity of laying more charges, and they will. The most common of these charges is hindering police. This is pretty much everything up to being physically resistant. Any action which makes it difficult for the policeman to arrest you is likely to result in a charge of hindering police. Resisting arrest is exactly as the charge suggests. If you physically resist the police officer in trying to arrest you, you will be charged with resisting arrest. This plus offensive language make up the trifecta: hindering police, resisting arrest, offensive language. These charges are quite often tacked on to those that an activist will be facing. It does not make the court look favourably upon you. Resisting in this manner, abusing police, hindering police, does not assist you or the issue that you're championing. At the point of arrest, become compliant. Do as the police ask and protect your legal health. So, you've been arrested. You've been put in a paddy wagon or a police car, and now you're at the police station. There are 3 golden rules that you must keep in mind all the time that you're in a police station. In a police station, you say nothing, you sign nothing, and you remain compliant all the way. Indeed, being passive and compliant does not come naturally to activists, so this might take a great deal of effort on your behalf. But you must keep your mind all the way through. The police will be anxious to be able to lay extra charges. Don't you assist them in doing you over. Whilst you're in custody, it's likely that a number of things will happen before and after your interview. It's a good idea to be prepared for these and to understand what your reaction will be when it happens. The police will take your fingerprints. Do not resist. Unless you happen to be an agent of Osama bin Laden or you've committed many murders in the past, it's no skin off your nose. If you resist, it will just make things worse. Your photograph will be taken. Similarly, don't resist. It's just a photograph. It's part of the procedure. They might ask you to take part in a lineup. This is an identity parade. We've all seen them on television and they do actually happen in life. If the police want you to take part in an identity parade, then let them do so. It is no skin off your nose, and probably it will just assist you in getting the hell out of there quicker. You may be arrested, charged, and released without having to go through a police interview. But this is unlikely. In most instances, on one or two or more occasions, you will be led out of your cell and put into an interview room, where the police will attempt to conduct an interview with you. What happens in this room can affect the rest of your life, so you must be prepared. Almost all convictions in Western world common law countries are secured on the basis of a self-signed statement of interview that was provided to the police in the process of a police interview. You don't want to be one of these majority of bunnies. You now know your rights. So there are some tactics which you will employ when you go into that interview room to protect your legal health. The basic strategy that you should employ when you're in an interview room is to sign nothing, say nothing, and come out of there having provided no information to the police. Remember, you have a right to remain silent, and the police will be obliged to tell you that once again right at the commencement of the interview. This is your opportunity to refuse to provide an interview. Say to the policeman, I have been provided legal advice that I should not talk to the police until after I've talked to a legal counsellor. And don't say much more. Whenever they press you, repeat this statement to them, but do it politely. They will pressure you. They will try every trick that they can think up to get you to talk. But it is essential that you say nothing and sign nothing. At the interview, the police will draw out a piece of paper, place it on the desk and commence writing. Whether or not you are responding to their questions, they will continue writing. At the end of the interview, they will slide this piece of paper, which is called a statement of interview, across the table to you and ask you to sign it. Normally they'll just say, I'll sign here, as if it's just a formality. You do not have to sign this piece of paper, and do not sign it. This statement of interview is simply a way of you busting yourself. When I say that you sign nothing, of course I mean this within reason. When you're taken into the police station, you'll be taken first before a charge sergeant. This charge sergeant will take from you any items that he believes that you might be able to use for self-harm. They will take your shoelaces, your tie, any sharp objects, And just in case you want to go on a spending spree in the cells, they'll take your money and your wallet from you. At this point, they'll slide to you a chit or a form which has a list of these items on it. Print your name at the bottom of this. Right at the end of your stay in the police station, you might be asked to sign a self-recognizance or a bail form. You will sign this. However, these will be the only things that you sign whilst in the police station. In the interview room, you will sign nothing. So you're thinking to yourself, that's easy. I've got it now. I can survive a police interview. All I've got to do is shut up. It is not that easy. The police will do everything that they can think of to rattle your cage, and they will lie. In fact, they are likely to tell you a pack of bullshit. This can and does rattle a lot of people. So, when you're sat in that interview room, and the police are providing you with all sorts of improbable information, think back on this video. Realise that they're just trying to drag information out of you. They want a response. They can and will lie. You can't believe a word they say. So, stick to the basic tactics. Sign nothing. Say nothing. But be polite. They will apply pressure. You will become even more silent and polite. Police are difficult to cope with, but if you play the game correctly and politely, without putting pressure on them, without abusing them, without resisting, but just staying silent, then there's very little that they can do. After a little while, in the interview room, they will come to the conclusion that they're not going to get anything out of you, and they'll put you back in the cell. If you're successful, you'll be released without charge. That is your ambition. However, if you're released after being charged, then the very first thing that you will do is go and find someone who does know the law, someone who will be able to act on your behalf to work out whether the charges that have been laid will be able to stick. In other words, you'll go and find a lawyer. Not all lawyers are arseholes, just a few of them. Go and find one that you trust and tell them all about it. However, once you've engaged a lawyer, don't go and hassle the police. Let the lawyer do it. You don't get a dog and bark at intruders, so you don't hire a lawyer and then bark at the police. So now you know how to get arrested and come out the other side in good legal health. You know what an arrest is. You know that you have to be very careful at the point of arrest to make sure that there isn't ammunition for the police to lay further charges. You know that you fight the police inside a courtroom, not in the street or in a police station. You also understand that because by far the majority of convictions happen because of a self-signed statement of interview, you aren't going to make that mistake. You know the 3 golden rules. You know that when you're under arrest, you say nothing, you sign nothing, and you're compliant and polite all the way through. You know this will drive the coppers crazy. So, when the police tell you a pack of lies during an interview, it's not going to rattle you. You'll just sit back, let it flow straight over you, and when you're released from that police station, you'll go and find a lawyer and find out whether or not the charges are real or whether they're going to stick. Now that you've got to the end of this, I hope you've got a better idea of what being arrested and coming out the other side is all about. I hope it never does happen to you, but I do hope and pray that if you do get arrested, you remember this tutorial and you look after your own legal health.